start first with the Los Angeles Lakers. Their season is officially over. Season filled with championship aspirations and expectations just got eviscerated and set ablaze before our very eyes. Not only have they been officially eliminated from the playoffs, but also from the play-in tournament. So the entire postseason contention is done, and it all happened because of a loss to the Phoenix Suns last night, 121-110. So I think never, to me, at least this season, never has the second half of a game more aptly defined a team than between the Lakers and the Suns last night. Obviously, LeBron wasn't playing due to an ankle injury that sidelined him for 4 out of the last 5 games. So the continual theme of one of the Lakers' 3 supposed big 3 star players was out of the lineup due to injuries. It was competitive in the first half, like has been the case for much of the season for the Lakers. But then they, of course, flamed out in the second half, and in particular got blasted out of the galaxy in the third quarter. They were outscored by 13, but ultimately they trailed by as many as 26 at one point, despite the fact that at halftime it was just a 63-58 deficit. So the second half kind of perfectly encapsulated who this Lakers team has been all year, and unfortunately continued as they lost their 7th straight game. They haven't collected back-to-back wins since January, since the All-Star break, 4 of 17. So we know the poor record that they have had. So it's obviously just a fitting way for them to have been eliminated. Now, emotionally, for me as a Lakers fan, obviously the words disappointment and underachievement certainly come to mind, and they'll continue to reverberate around Los Angeles for months to come, for many months to come. But truthfully, the biggest emotion that comes to my mind at this very moment in time is relief, a kind of reconciliation, because I kind of reconciled with this reality several weeks ago when Anthony Davis badly sprained his ankle when it looked like he was done for the year. And I kind of reconciled with the fact back then that any championship aspirations and a championship season were a wash. This dream for a utopian outcome now, unfortunately, has flamed out, has just quickly turned into delusion. This yearning for, and not to mention delusion and basketball dystopia, because now this is almost the worst case situation for the Lakers. This yearning for this dream scenario and the nostalgia of winning the championship 16 months ago has now turned into a torturously long nightmare that we still haven't been able to wake up from, because the Lakers still have 3 meaningless basketball games left to play. So those are the emotions that are flooding to the forefront right now. I think all Lakers fans probably feel the same way. And when you look at this team and the way that it was comprised, I love Russell Westbrook. And in my mind, he will always be one of the greatest NBA players of all time because of the impact that he's had on the game, what he's brought to the game, how he's elevated the sport. And none of that will change for me, but it doesn't negate the fact that trading for him has proven to be an absolute disaster. The trade was an absolute disaster. Frank Vogel, as much credit as I have given him in the past for helping to lead the Lakers into championship contention with LeBron and AD upon his first arrival, he simply this season wasn't able to inspire or extract the most out of his guys. And it's not just with the outcomes, it's not just in the win-loss column, but with regard to their effort. And he just didn't seem to be able to motivate these guys in a way where they were competing for 48 minutes. We simply did not see it. And I think he's a good coach. And I think he's an NBA worthy head coach, no question about that. But I think you replace him with Ty Lue, and Ty Lue in this situation with this roster, no matter how old it is, no matter how kind of injury riddled they are, I still think he finds a way to lead them to the play-in tournament. That's how highly I think of a guy like Ty Lue. And so, again, for the second consecutive season, injuries did unfortunately derail this team. They played a big factor. The Lakers' big three or supposed big three of LeBron, AD, and Russ combined only play together 21 games this year. They were 11-10 in those games, and the majority of them came in the first 2 months of the season. So they were kind of plagued from the very start. But the point is, I will no longer have any restless nights sleeping because fate has come. And now it's time to move on. It's time to move on. Hopefully I can wake up from this nightmare pretty soon. And I'll start rooting for the LA Dodgers because they've got a lot of talented players. And fortunately in LA, you got a lot of really prosperous major teams. So it's a shame that it had to culminate in that loss last night, but you move on.